Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 5 of SocoChain, Africa's storytelling hub for crypto and blockchain innovations. I'm your host, Faith, and today we are unlocking another inspiring story from the heart of Web3 in Africa. Our guest today is Gideon, who is the Chief Product Officer at BlockCoop SACCO, a next generation cooperative that is blending trust of traditional finance SACCOs with the power of blockchain as we know it. So BlockCoop is refining savings, investing, and credit using digital assets, offering real-time share trading, digital asset-backed loans, and decentralized decision making, and more. So today we'll dive into Gideon's personal journey into blockchain, the original story of BlockCoop, how they started, what pain points they're solving in the cooperative sector, and the challenges they faced, and how they're building the bridges between old finance and decentralized future of finance. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest for today, Gideon. Hi, Gideon.
Hi, Faith. It's really nice to meet you this morning. It's a Friday morning in Nairobi, and I'm very happy to be hosted by you, Faith. And it's an honor to be here to talk about blockchain and more specifically BlockCoop SACCO.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm really looking forward to just understanding how BlockCoop is merging traditional finance in the cooperative sector, that is SACCOs, and digital assets. So we'll dive into that. But before we get into that, I'll just want to understand briefly how your journey into blockchain came to be for you to even to get to a point of seeing this particular pain point and wanting to solve it. So if you can
Yes.
just take us back to how you started, tell us your story.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Faith, and thank you for having me. So, my name is Gideon Gitonga, and I'm a techpreneur. That's what I call myself. But essentially, after campus over a decade ago, I positioned myself in the market as a business analyst. The goal was to be able to interpret business processes through technology for the purpose of either enhancing distribution, making business process more efficient, and stuff like that. So back in 2017, 2018, we were involved in a project, maybe 2019 thereabout. The project is still there. It's called Sotika. So Sotika was a savings and investment platform. We allowed Kenyans to be able to invest to the existing investment products in the market. That could be money market funds and stuff like that. So out of that particular project, we found out that 7,000 people within the platform. Sotika is now serving around 30,000 people. So we realized that 7,000 of them decided to own real estate, but obviously they couldn't walk into any bank and be able to get a mortgage. So that's where we started exploring solutions of how we can be able to assist our people own real estate, which is a high value asset, without necessarily having to do the mortgage. So that was the first time we interacted with blockchain, and more so that time was tokenization. So in 2018, we wrote to Securitize. Securitize is a tokenization platform in the US, and asked for a quote to do tokenization of real estate here in Kenya. So the quote
Okay.
came in. Yeah, the quote was around $60,000, and then I don't know. Every month we needed to pay them $5,000. I think we couldn't afford that kind of money. So necessity brutes innovation. So
Yeah.
that's when we started studying about blockchain and the technology itself, and how we could actually be able to leverage it to tap into the global liquidity market. Obviously, at that time, it was for affordable long-term capital that we could deploy in being able to finance our people to own real estate, or rather be able to own homes. So that was how the journey started. So we started building a product which we call Nomarchain. I mean, you can check out Nomarchain. Anybody can check out Nomarchain. We do tokenization of real world asset. That project has been there for the last 3 years now. And through our journey through Nomarchain, then we got more deeper into blockchain and various use cases of blockchain technology. And there's
Yeah.
an organization in South Africa called Alan and Gray Foundation. It's in South Africa. They run a program called Jasiri. So they take 50 entrepreneurs across Africa, from Ethiopia, Kenya, and Rwanda. They put them in Rwanda for 3 months. And essentially what the task they give us is go into Africa and find some of the biggest problems within the African continent and solve them. So that is where I think last year in 2024, and the problem we identified that we wanted to solve was within the cooperative sector. So that's how BlockCoop was born. So
Okay.
BlockUp was born in Rwanda, and the idea was let us find issues and challenges that are bedeviling the cooperative sector. So one of the things that we could see on the surface within the
Mm-hmm.
cooperative sector in Kenya was the
Yeah.
collapse. The collapse. There was a big scandal around Cusco. There was a
Mm-hmm.
big scandal with the Keza. We saw the collapse of some SACCOs, such as the Keza. SACCOs are basically savings and credit cooperatives. So we saw what happened to Metropolitan. So billions of member savings were actually lost. And that is what we see on the surface. And that is what we needed to be able to solve. And
Yeah.
that told us that there's a governance problem within our cooperative sector. The other
Mm-hmm.
thing is, when we started digging deep into this particular problem, we found that despite the youth being a majority in Kenya, they only
Yeah.
constitute 30% membership into SACCOs. What is more interesting is the fact that most of us, maybe you, Faith included, we've been brought up by parents who have either been in tea cooperatives, coffee cooperatives, or milk cooperatives. You know, cooperatives have been integral in our society since 1902, for the last 1 or 8 years. They
Yeah.
have contributed 45% of our GDP. Actually, last year, SACCOs lent more money into education more than banks. They lent 96 billion shillings into education. So they are an integral part of our economy, but they
Yeah.
now face an existential threat. Why? Because they have lost public trust because of governance problems. But
Yeah.
number two, they are not modernized as quickly and as fast as banks are or as digital credit providers are, and therefore they are losing their role and meaning in our economy today, and the young people are not members of these institutions. So solving that specific problem was the mandate that we came up with, and we decided to do research into that particular out why is it that the young people are not participating, and why is it that the circles are actually collapsing. So I'll be able to speak about that, but that's essentially the journey of how we came all the way to being able to leverage blockchain technology to solve the governance issues and to modernize cooperatives here in Kenya, but but in the broader sense across the African continent and across the emerging market. So that's really the story. And the reason why we're using blockchain,
Yeah.
blockchain is the trust technology. Yes.
That's quite true, and it's really interesting how you've mentioned how most of us in Kenya and if I'm not wrong, Africa at large, we've grown up knowing SACCOs because that's where our parents used to save their money. That's where they would access loans quickly to take us to school or even do projects around home. So we grew up with the name SACCOs in our minds, and everyone here in Kenya at least understands. If they're not in a SACCO, they've at least come across it either through affiliation of some sort. So I just want
Correct.
to understand the model that BlockCoop is taking, considering how we know SACCO to be, and as you've said, the demographic that we are seeing right now for SACCOs, it's not the young people. So it's the people who are slightly older, the older generation that are there,
Correct.
and now trying to even in the management sector of these SACCOs, so trying to introduce blockchain technology, which is a new technology that is deemed as complicated to people who are not very conversant with technology as we know it. Then there's now blockchain that has a lot of
Yeah.
complexities with it. For us who are within the blockchain industry, we understand the trust aspect of it, and that's why we're pushing for adoption of this. But then, how is BlockCoop as doing it to be able to get the management in these circles to understand what blockchain is? How are you guys going through the education process of educating people about what blockchain is, what it can be able to do, and how it can be able to bring the younger generation into cooperatives? How are you guys doing it?
Thank you very much, Faith. Yeah, so obviously, as you said, blockchain is a very intricate technology, but obviously, so how we are about it is very simple. Number one is we identified five big problems that SACCOs are currently facing, and we thought, how can we be able to solve these problems? So essentially, when you are selling to an institution or when you're selling to anybody, nobody wants to hear about how fancy your technology is or how complicated the technology is. Everybody is interested in how are you solving my problem. So the first thing we started by identifying are five big problems that SACCOs currently face today, and they have not been able to solve for. So the problem number one is around shares. Shares of SACCOs. SACCOs are member owned. So when you buy shares in a SACCO, you cannot be able to exit. A lot of members are grappling with billions. There is $1.4 billion worth of SACCO shares that is locked. It's money that cannot be used for anything. It's money that's not circulating in our economy. It is money that a member can only wait for dividends if the SACCO ever gives a dividend, but they cannot
Yeah.
even use it to be able to borrow. So SACCO shares don't trade. So the first thing we thought about is how can we assist SACCO members to be able to buy and sell shares and therefore be able to exit SACCOs, or rather be able to move around SACCOs. I can move from Steamer SACCO to Mwalimu, from Mwalimu to Police. I can move that to Tower, depending on whether I'm an investor, I want a good dividend at the end of the year, or
Yeah.
just because I want to be able to borrow from this SACCO because it has better rates. So share trading is the first problem we identified as an inhibitor and a problem that exists current SACCOs are facing. Number two is the
Mm-hmm.
issue of guarantorship. If you go to any SACCO, 75% of the existing SACCO members say that they are not able to actually be able to get a guarantor for loans. You know, SACCO loans have to be guaranteed because it's member savings. And you have
Yeah.
to find a guarantor within the SACCO who are going to use their own savings. So we've seen a lot of guarantors who have lost money. You know, like I guaranteed someone, they never repaid the loan, and my savings were taken out. You get it? 75% of people, now they have introduced something very fancy in SACCOs, they're calling self-guarantee.
Yeah.
Self-guarantee essentially is borrowing your own money. You know, I've saved 3 million, now I borrow 2.5 million. I'm guaranteeing myself, then I'm paying. It doesn't make sense. The reason why people go to SACCOs is because they want to borrow 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times their savings. But they
Mm-hmm.
cannot be able to do so because now they do not know anybody, or people are not willing to guarantee them. You get it?
Yeah.
It is also the same reason why 50% of young people don't want to join SACCOs, because the moment you go into a SACCO desk, they tell you, can you come with your friends and your cousins? You join together so that you can be guaranteeing each other. So it becomes more or less like a referral game. So that is another problem. Now, problem number three is around voting. SACCOs do AGMs. They have just changed the regulations, and now they are saying that they're going to be using a delegate system.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time SACCOs go for the AGM, yeah, they start fighting. People are killing each other because there's a lot of money that is actually moving within SACCOs. So they have now
Yeah.
resorted to a delegate system. A delegate system denies a member or a shareholder an opportunity to vote on decisions over their money, an opportunity to originate proposals on how their money needs to be managed. Four. Number four is that SACCOs are trying to attract young people, but they do not have products for the young people. We
Mm.
both know, you and I, Faith, know that the future of money is digital assets. It's digital money. Last year alone, SACCOs
Yeah.
moved $3.3 billion in USDT to pay for goods that they are importing from China and all these other kinds. That's around 426 billion Kenyan shillings. So
Mm.
that's the future of money. But you cannot walk to any bank and borrow money against a digital asset. Real estate is going to be tokenized. And with the passing of the virtual asset service provider bill, then you're looking at tokenization may grow in a very big way. But I cannot borrow money from my SACCO to buy a tokenized asset. I cannot use the asset that I own. 11 million Kenyans own digital assets worth $20 billion. These are people who are owning BTC, Ethereum, Pi, all these tokens, but they cannot
Yeah.
use those tokens as collateral to access facilities or loans within those institutions. Number five, the biggest problem that SACCOs have with their regulator and even their members is transparency. Transparency. They cannot be able and audit. They're not able to present audit on time. They present audits that are not proper, and the cost of compliance is very high for some of the SACCOs. So, but if SACCOs were able to deploy on-chain, it means that members can monitor the financial health of SACCOs real time. Same to SASRA, the regulator, or the Ministry of Cooperatives. They are also able to monitor real time the performance of these institutions and their financial health. So those are the 5 big problems that BlockCoop SACCO is solving. So when we go to SACCOs, we don't go to SACCOs and tell them that you have a trust problem or you have a governance issue, but we tell them we have a solution for your problems. So our solution is a software infrastructure built on blockchain technology that addresses the 5 pain points that SACCOs have. So if a SACCO needs its shares to trade in the market, we are able to allow them to trade. If a SACCO needs to have a guarantor solution, we have what we call guarantor pool. So it's a pool that members can access guarantees based on a new digital way of knowing whether you as a member of a SACCO is trustworthy. We call it the trust score. So based on your trust score, then we are able to extend a guarantee to you. It's a contract. You can work with it to your SACCO and get a loan. So you don't need to move around with a form for your trying to find people to sign for you that particular form to get you a loan. So if they have governance, if they need voting systems, SACCO is a DAO, is a decentralized autonomous organization. So we are able to actually offer them that particular DAO and they can vote on chain. So I think when we are selling, for example, when we are selling our DeFi protocol, which is the protocol that allows SACCOs to start accepting crypto as deposits or accepting crypto as collateral for loans, we're telling them we can increase your loan book. We are telling them we can increase the number of members who can sign up to your SACCO tomorrow. Why? Because we are offering a new product to customers. So the way we are getting these whole SACCOs to be able to transact with us is by solving their problems. But we went a step further. The step further we went was to create our very own SACCO. It's called BlockCoop SACCO. We created BlockCoop SACCO to demonstrate how a SACCO on-chain is able to operate. So that every time we go to a SACCO, yes?
Before
Yes,
we
please.
get to now BlockCoop SACCO, because we're going to talk about that, I just want to understand now that you have this API solutions that you're taking to SACCOs. What are some of the challenges that you've been getting for you guys to get to a point where you're seeing, okay, there's some laxity when it comes to adopting this new technology that we are offering to you in terms of APIs? Then we see, because of this laxity and as we understand the pain points of our cooperative members, let's start our own. But now, before we get to BlockCoop and how you guys now have started BlockCoop SACCO, just if you can highlight some of the challenges that you've been facing when it comes to presenting the solution, presenting the software to the existing SACCOs that we know. What are those challenges that you've been facing?
So one of the biggest challenges is knowledge gap. Knowledge gap among the decision makers, the gatekeepers within these institutions. This could be the boards, the SACCO boards, or it could be within the management committee of these institutions. So they have a very huge knowledge gap when it comes to new technology, including just simple things such as AI, and now you're introducing blockchain solutions to them. So that knowledge gap is also very big, is a very big challenge. Number 2 is the cost. Most SACCOs are not well capitalized to be able to adopt new technology. So they may not have the finances to actually be able to acquire these kind of technologies. Number 3 is the gatekeepers themselves. They are gatekeepers who want SACCOs to remain outdated and using archaic systems. Why? Because they benefit by SACCOs not digitizing, because if they continue to use manual processes and those kind of processes, then it means that their avenues of siphoning money and resources from this institution continue. So they become gatekeepers who don't want to allow digitization to actually be able to happen. But one of the ways that we are actually solving for this is, number 1, through what we call the DeFi Safari Academy. So we have our own academy where we seek to be able to educate the C-suite members of these institutions, maybe the managers or even the board themselves. So we have a 2 weeks program where we can take them. That program can even be a 2 days workshop where we can take them to the benefit of blockchain technology or other our solutions. Number 2 way is, first of all, we do what we call digital transformation strategic plan for SACCOs. So as you're aware, the way SACCOs adopt solution is they have a strategic plan that they work with, maybe a 5 whatever kind of a plan. So we are actually doing what we call the digital transformation strategic plan for SACCOs right now. So we go in, we consult for them, we look at their existing systems, so we do a diagnostic within the SACCO itself to understand,
Yeah.
do they have capacity, or what are they looking at as what the future of a SACCO is going to be, and then we can be able to put some of these solutions in their roadmap into the future, so which means they are able to plan for it. So when they're doing the budgets, they can be able to plan, so they are able to transition over time. Number three, we are partnering with their current software providers or banking
Yeah.
institutions, so that we can be able to provide these solutions to them. And they already trust the existing vendors, they already
Yeah.
trust the existing bankers. So if we collaborate, then the existing bankers are able to demonstrate to them that these solutions that are coming to the market are actually going to solve some of their problems. So that's how we are solving for the issues that they have, including now we are able to offer software as a service solution on a revenue share model, so that circles that do not have capacity to pay for these
Yeah.
solutions, then they can be deployed for free, but they can pay based on the volume of transactions that they're actually being able to do. So that's how we are addressing the affordability issue for a couple of circles. But beyond that, we're also going
Yeah.
the policy way. We want to influence policy so that circles can be able to adopt, or rather the law can accommodate or require SACCOs to deploy on technology that provides for transparency, technology that provides for enforcement of compliance. And audit is one of the biggest compliance requirement. And you
Yeah.
heard the minister the other day saying that he's going to deny licenses to SACCOs that do not submit their audit reports. And we saw from the Cusco scandal that an auditor who was dead actually signed for those audits. So therefore, we need to find technological ways of enforcing compliance of these institutions. And from that perspective, BlockCoop will continue to pursue policy interventions that can actually be able to require SACCOs to deploy on-chain, because we believe that blockchain technology provides the transparency and it lowers cost of compliance, including cost of doing audits, because we are able to get this real time. So those are the interventions we are making for the challenges that you are facing when you're trying to deploy these to existing SACCOs.
That's really quite impressive. I'm just sitting here and just get, just being in like a soaking moment to all this, because I'm also a member of a SACCO, and like all the pain points that you're mentioning, like I've in one way or another experienced them. Walking around with a form looking for guarantors because you want a loan, and it's not a loan of like a lot of money. You just want to do a project, but you have to walk around looking for guarantors. You have
Correct.
to get your family members or your friends into the SACCO so that when you want to get a loan, it's easier. But having blockchain technology as we know it, having like decisions made in terms of DAOs as we know them, and we're going to talk about that and how DAOs are going to come into play in terms of decision making. Having, as you've said, proper audits of what is happening like within our cooperatives, like all these are pain points that we are all facing, and hence why people are losing trust when it comes to SACCOs, because we've seen SACCOs collapse. As you started by saying, people have shares, but these shares are not tradable, they're just sitting there. That's just your
Correct.
money going around, and it's not giving you anything. If it's giving you something, it's dividends that some members don't even get them, because you find the SACCO is having issues here and there, so they're not able to distribute money. Like there's just so many problems that members are facing, and they are facing them in silence, or even pulling out of these circles. But you find if you're pulling out, then you lose certain benefits that you've acquired over a very long period of time. This is more so
Correct.
for our parents who have been in circles all their careers, and these are people who have worked for over 30 years. So it's really painful to like see them going through that experience, and this is something that they trusted, it's something they saw from their parents to them, they've educated their children with it, they've even been educated through this circle. So it's really good to see what you guys are actually solving. And with I feel like right now where we've gotten with the VASP license having been enacted, and now it's a fully regulated industry in terms of blockchain products and crypto assets as well. Now I feel like the institutions won't have a choice than to adopt, because for any, as you know it, the future is digital.
Correct.
If an institution doesn't adopt digital assets or even blockchain technology into their systems, then you get left out. And when you get left out, it's the same thing that happened during the internet era, when internet came into play and companies ceased to go digital. They've been left behind because now it gets really difficult for these institutions or these companies to catch up, because the people who adopted the technology while it was starting are miles ahead as compared to
Correct.
these people who are trying to now catch up. Because first of all, you've lost your you've lost your customers who are there. You've lost
Correct.
potential customers, because this, when they're trying to get into your institution, these are some of the checkbox that they're checking. Is it, are you guys offering digital assets as a service? Can I be able to borrow against my digital assets? Can I be able to, move my money around? Can I be, like,
Yes.
so much of these things. And blockchain also as trust, as you know it, the technology itself is a project that is a technology that is coming to solve so many of the problems that we are having, one of them
Correct.
being trust in so many institutions. So
Correct.
if you've not accepted or you've not integrated blockchain technology into your system, then it means there's a gap there, and I can't be able to track my money. It's not open. I can't be able to see it, because as we know, blockchain to be, it's transparent, it's open, so it's accessible. It's accessible to everyone. So if it's not accessible, then it means there's something that you're trying to hide, or hold back from your customers seeing. And those are some of the pain points that I'm really glad that you guys are solving. And I
Correct.
really hope that so many people get to see this episode, because it's so insightful. And even us as young people, we can be able to trust SACCOs again, because as you've said, people are looking into SACCOs because you can be able to borrow 5 times
Correct.
of your savings. If I'm just using my savings, then I might as well just pull it out, use it, and not have to pay
Yeah.
it back. You get what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, yeah,
It doesn't
definitely.
make, it doesn't make
Doesn't
financial
make
sense
sense.
for me to use my entire savings as a loan. You get
And then
what?
you borrow a fraction of your savings and you pay interest on it.
Imagine, I might as well just pull out my money, use it for
Correct.
the project that I want to use it. Because obviously, if you're pulling money, it's a project that either will give you profits in return, or it's a long-term project that you, either way, you needed to do it. So
Correct.
with all that said, it's also very commendable that you guys have a DeFi Academy, because as I
Mm.
started by saying, education is really important in
Correct.
for people to understand, and more so the management of these institutions, because as we know it, the majority of leadership for the institutions that are there in our country and also in Africa, which is very sad, these positions are held by the older generation. So in terms of even grasping this new technology and implementing it into their institutions is usually slow, or even non-existent,
And
to be honest. So the fact that BlockCoop, you have DeFi Academy, where you've taken it upon yourself to not only sell a solution, but to educate these people, take them through a 2-week program for them to understand what is blockchain, how is it solving certain problems that you guys are experiencing, how will it make you see certain changes in terms of profits, in terms of audits, in terms of voting systems, in terms of, as you've mentioned, all the 5 problems that SACCOs are
mm,
experiencing. That is very
correct.
commendable. So if we can move to now BlockCoop, You've seen
Yes.
these challenges that you've expressed to SACCOs. They're not willing to take up the solution that you're giving them. Then
Mm.
you sit and decide, let me open my own SACCO.
Correct. Correct.
How
Yeah,
did
yeah. Yeah,
how
yeah,
did that
definitely.
come
I mean,
about?
yeah, so obviously one of the ways we as entrepreneurs we need to be able to demonstrate how our solutions can be able to work in the market is through what we call MVPs, minimum viable products.
Yeah,
So definitely the fact that we have built an infrastructure for circles,
yeah,
and if you went to Steamer Circle, Molim Circle, or any other circle in there, it would be extremely difficult for you to test your solutions with them because they may
yeah.
not be willing to do that. So this year, beginning of the year in February, that we were licensed by the Ministry of Cooperatives as a SACCO, and therefore we had our first AGM on 11th of March. And
Oh,
when we did that particular AGM, we made a decision that we are going to be different. We made a decision that we are going to automate, not digitize, automate 95% of our operations to make sure that our SACCO fully runs on chain so that we
okay.
can so that we can be able to remove the need for human beings. If you remove human beings in processing the rules, the bylaws, and the regulations, then you reduce propensity for corruption. You reduce propensity for conflict of interest. You reduce propensity for unfair practices within the organization. So once we
Yeah,
decided to be able to do that, we started marketing ourselves as the blockchain SACCO. So if you look at blockchain SACCO and even go to Google and look for blockchain SACCO, we are number one in that category. So BlockCoop SACCO is number one in the category for a fully on-chain blockchain SACCO, and we are the first in Africa. So obviously the goal was for us to be able to run fully on-chain, and over the time we've launched our own share token. So for you as a circle to be
yeah,
able to raise capital, you need your members to buy in with shares. So members buy shares into the institution. So the first
yeah.
thing that we did was to make sure that our shares are digital. So we have our share token. It's called Blocks token. So Blocks token is the share token of BlockCoop SACCO, and it is trading in the market. Today it's trading at
Oh,
$4.2. Today it's at $4.2. We launched it at $1.08. It has gone up over 260% in the last
yeah,
42 days. We launched it beginning of last month. So it's gone up over 262%. So what we did was to create
yeah.
a primary market and a secondary market for our shares to be bought. So you can buy the shares in the primary market at a very huge discount. And once you buy it at a very huge discount, then you are able to vest over a period of time. Mostly it's around 3 years, and then
Yeah.
you're the one providing liquidity for the shares to trade in the secondary market. So what we've been able to do, we've
Mm.
made our share an investment product. It's an investment product. If you buy Blocks token today, you'll be
Yeah.
making money on a daily basis. Every day you're making money. Why? Because if you buy in the primary market, it means you're the one who's providing float for the share to trade in the secondary market. I'll give you an
Mm.
example with M-Pesa.
Yeah.
M-Pesa is a token. M-Pesa is a token, but
Yeah.
an agent provides float for M-Pesa to trade. So that when you go to an agent, you give them cash, they give you M-Pesa token. You give them M-Pesa token, they give you cash, and they charge you commissions for that. So it
Yeah.
is the same thing with Blocks token. If you buy Blocks token from the primary market is buying directly from the circle. The same way you'd go to Mwalimu Circle or Steamer Circle and buy shares directly from them. So when
Yeah.
you do that, you are providing liquidity for secondary market trading. So from the commissions of the
Yeah.
people who are trading in the secondary market, then you get to earn every day. So the more people trade Blocks token in the secondary market, the more
Yeah.
money you make in the primary market, right? Number two,
Mm-hmm.
when you are holding Blocks token, you are expecting annual dividends. So you get annual dividends from our lending activities. Number
Mm-hmm.
three, when you buy Blocks token for the first time, you can benefit from its price going up. If the price goes up, right, you can sell very easily in the secondary market. So we have ideally made Blocks token an investment token. But what is our vision and what is our mission as BlockCoop SACCO? Our
Yeah.
mission is to empower 1 billion people to create and grow wealth through decentralized finance. So
Mm-hmm.
today's finance is called traditional finance, or rather
Yeah.
centralized finance. Why? Because it is central organizations such as central bank who determine our economy and who distribute money within our economy. But
Yeah.
now we are moving into decentralized finance, where we as individuals become the owner of the economy. through decentralization. So we
Yeah.
want to empower 1 billion people. Why 1 billion people? Because the moment you go on chain, you become global.
Yeah.
BlockCoop SACCO is a global SACCO. Today, we have members in the US buying our shares. We have our members in Malaysia buying our shares. We were in Rwanda for the Africa Blockchain Festival just, I think, 2 weeks ago. We have members there. We have members in Nigeria. We have members in South Africa. We are essentially a global SACCO. We are able to tap into the global liquidity market for
Yeah.
capital that we can use to deploy to our members across the world or across emerging markets who need this money. So that is how we do that. So how do we want to empower 1 billion people? Through
Yeah.
three ways.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, as we said, is education. We want to educate our members. How can
Yeah.
they take advantage of digital assets as a means towards financial freedom? How can you take advantage of it? The future of money is digital assets, but we want to teach you the basic skills of being able to transact within the DeFi space.
Yeah.
So can you open a wallet? What is a wallet? How do you move money? How do you buy USDT? How do you undo on ramping? How do you do off ramping? What is a
Yeah.
DAO? How do you participate in a DAO? What is tokenization? How does tokenization work? How is it important for me? So first thing of empowerment is education. The moment you change the mindset of our people, then we can position them for the wealth transfer that is currently happening. Wealth is moving from the banks and coming to the decentralized world. And we want our members to be positioned to take that. Number two way that we do that we empower
Yeah.
them, is through financial support. So financial support means that we actually give you money to be able to acquire digital assets. So we have two loan products. Number one is the digital asset loan product. Digital asset loan product is we give you up to 3 times for you to actually buy digital assets. We give you money to buy BTC. We give you money to buy Ethereum. We give you money to buy BNB. We give you money to buy tokenized real estate,
Yeah.
tokenized stocks. Stocks that are trading in the market, they are now tokenized. We can
Yeah.
fund you to actually buy those particular stocks. So we are the first circle in Africa that is actually financing you to buy digital assets. Number two loan is what we
Just
call
before you
collateralized. Yes.
Sorry, before you proceed to the third point, I just on the lending part, you've mentioned lending up to 3 times. So I just want to
Yes.
understand, is this for new members or is this for existing members? Because if it's just break it down, because if you're giving up to 3 times, I'll assume it's up to 3 times of what is already there. So if I
Correct.
have 5,000, you give me 3 times of my 5,000. So you give me 15,000. But now
Correct.
for beginners, how are you empowering them when it comes to them being able to buy as much? Fine, there's the education aspect of it, but now I've come in, I've been educated. Now I want to get into um, now acquisition of the block
Digital asset.
token, or even start buying all these other digital assets. How do you take a beginner through that?
So obviously for you to benefit from any of our services, you must be a member.
Yeah.
So how you start by being a member is by buying blocks. Blocks is the share token. So you can
Okay.
go to the market and start buying blocks. You can trade. Yeah, our token is trading on PancakeSwap. So you can go to PancakeSwap and just be able to buy blocks. You can go to our website. Our website is shares.blockcoopsacco.com. Shares.blockcoopsacco.com. If you go there, you can buy shares in the primary market or
Yeah.
secondary market. That's where you start from. So once you buy
Yeah.
blocks, you need a minimum of blocks worth $150 for you to be a fully paid up member. So we need to check your wallet. Once we check your wallet, we
Yeah.
see $150 worth of blocks, then you're a fully paid up member. So at that point, we are able to
Yeah.
give you 3 times of whatever it is that you save. So with Block of SACCO, you can save any digital asset you have or even fiat. So you can save, you can even buy more blocks and use blocks as your savings. You can buy a BT, you can save BTC, you can save Ethereum, you can save BNB, but we convert everything that you deposit to USDT. So once you deposit your Bitcoin, we convert it to USDT. If you deposit your Kenya shilling, we convert it to USDT. So whatever you deposit, then we are able to give you times 3. So if you save in our savings contract. So we have a savings contract. All these things are being run by smart contracts, not by the normal mobile apps that every other SACCO is using. This is
Yeah.
being run by smart contracts. So you deposit into a savings contract $1,000, so that's 1,000 USDT. We are
Yeah.
able to buy you a digital asset worth $3,000. So you can choose to buy BTC, you can choose to buy Ethereum, you can choose to buy tokenized real estate. So if there's a real estate that has been tokenized, you can buy it, whatever it is. You buy that, then we put it in our collateral smart contract because that asset is the security. So we put
Yeah.
it in a collateral smart contract and you can start paying. But you know why do people buy BTC? Because they are projecting BTC as a store of value that it's likely
Yeah.
to appreciate. Even if right now we are on a downtime, we are on a very huge retracement. But
Yeah.
obviously, the reason why people buy these assets is because they are projecting that they are going to increase in value. So if you buy BTC today, which is trading at $86,000 this morning, and BTC gets to $100,000, it means
Yeah.
you have built equity of $14,000, which you can actually borrow against as now
Mm.
cash for you to actually go and spend on your school fees and do whatever and do whatever that you need to do. So we are leveraging digital assets as collateral, but we assist you to buy. So as a member, you come and you don't have any digital assets. Be sure that your first loan will be a digital asset loan, and you qualify
So
for it immediately. You do not
I,
have to wait for 3 months, 6 months, or whatever.
okay. So is there a minimum amount that members are required to contribute in terms of um for them to start? Like you find in most
No, no.
cases maybe it's 1,500. I'm quoting in Kenya shillings. So for
Yes,
BlockCoop, because you're tapping into different markets, as you said, BlockCoop is a global SACCO. So
correct.
you're usually denote your rates in dollars, if I'm not wrong. So
Correct.
for
The USDT.
is there a minimum amount for people to join? If I want to become a member, what's
Yes.
the minimum rate?
So if you want to become a member, you have to buy blocks worth $150, 150
Okay.
USD. So you must that means you are a fully paid up member. You get benefit from the loan products. You can buy
Okay.
blocks of any amount. You can even buy blocks of $1, $2, $0.5. But for you to benefit from our loan products, you must have blocks worth $150. So blocks
Okay.
can be bought from secondary market or primary market. If you buy the $150 pack from the primary market, you're going to buy it at $1. So you will get 150 blocks.
Yeah.
150 blocks today, they are worth $600 because in the secondary market, blocks is $4.2 today. We are trading at $4.2. So if you buy in the primary market, you buy at $1. So you've gotten a very huge discount. So you're making almost 300% profit by just buying. You're making almost 3x by just buying in the primary market. So that's the kind of returns that you're actually able to get. But if you buy in the primary market, you get vested. So as long as you have $150 worth of blocks, from there
Yeah.
now, you can proceed to benefit from loan products. Do we have a
Oh,
minimum savings monthly requirement? No, we do not have a minimum monthly savings requirement, just like the way SACCOs have. No, we do not have that. And you can come and save today $1,000 and just borrow immediately. You don't have to have
mm,
saved for the last 6 months. You don't have to have saved, like every month you have to save $10 or whatever. No. You don't have to do that. And the
okay.
reason why we are doing that is because we are building a circle for our young people. Our young people are in the gig economy. Today they have money, tomorrow they don't have money. And the reason why they can't survive in the existing circles is because you're told every month you have to save 2,000 shillings or 5,000 shillings. Where do you get the money and you had no income that particular month? So you end up being told you are a dormant account. Once you become dormant, you have to start all over again before you can start being able to borrow. So we are removing all these outdated processes and requirements that are in our existing circles so that we can modernize this circle and make sure that anybody and everybody is able to benefit from it. So yes, there is no minimum requirement for you to actually be able
Oh,
to borrow. Yes.
that's
So
good.
we have the two. Yes.
I think
So we have
that's
the two
good
loan.
because
Yes.
sorry, I'm saying that's good because for better understanding uh what the 15 the $150 that is required for people to borrow is what traditional circles call share capital. So if you're in
Correct.
a circle, yeah, you're required to have a share capital of a specific amount. I think it varies from different circles. so that you can
Correct.
be able to access loans. So I like that you've not really pulled away from the traditional SACCO. You're just trying to come and build on what is already existing, but simplifying what is already not working. And I like how you eliminated that part of the monthly minimum deposit requirement, because as you've said, most of the young people are operating in a it's a gig economy. You have the gig this time, next time you don't have, but you're not really able to hold that consistent monthly deposits, because you also have other bills that are recurring and consistent. You have to eat, you have to pay rent, you have to. So in most cases, as much as I'm not saying we put savings at the back of our heads, but it's nice to know that you can go to you can be part of a circle that does not label you dormant just because you didn't have that extra income to deposit here or there, but you still experience the same you can be
Benefit.
able to borrow. Yeah, you still experience the same benefits as somebody as traditional circles or these other members who are paying consistently. That is really good. So if you can proceed on your
Yes.
on the
Yes.
points that you were saying.
Just to recap, I was saying that our vision and our mission is to empower 1 billion people to create
Yeah,
and grow wealth through DeFi. And we do that in three ways. Number one, I said, is education. Number two, I said it's financial support. So we have two
yeah,
loan products. We have the digital asset loan product, which is times three for you to buy digital asset. The
yeah,
second loan product is collateralized loan, where you can be able to borrow cash against your digital asset. So we're able to
oh,
actually be able to provide you that. So the reason why we started with those two is because we wanted to run those on smart contracts. So it's easier to run digital assets loans on smart contract than us
yeah,
starting to go and give these types of loans. Or the other reason why we are doing that is because we don't want to compete with Mwalimu, compete with Steamer Circle, because we want to sell our software to them. Remember, we are a software and infrastructure business. We want to sell our
yeah,
infrastructure to them. Actually, what you'll see is these loans, we are going to be extending them through an API to Steamer,
mm,
to Mwalimu, to Tower. So Tower tomorrow can wake up and start advertising. Now we are able to receive Bitcoin as savings. Now we are able to lend against you, but it is BlockCoop SACCO that is powering that behind the scenes and giving
oh,
value to block stock and orders. Yes. So that's how we want to do it. We don't want to become competitors. We want to complement and assist all the other circles to transition, because of course they have bigger membership, they have bigger capital, and that way we
yeah,
can reach out to millions of people. Remember, our goal is to empower 1 billion people, whether directly or indirectly.
okay,
So
yeah,
number three is through network. Number three, we empower you is network. Your network is equal to your net worth. So we
yeah,
assist you in building a financially meaningful network. How? There are so many events that you can be able to attend. The many events that you can actually go and actually be able to network. We've been to FinTech Festival, Token 2049. Right now, guys are in Argentina. We have the events in South Africa. So we actually finance our members to go for these events across the world for the purpose of them networking and creating meaningful network. And that's how people are able to expand their mindset. That's how they're able to learn. That's how they're able to see where the world is actually heading towards. And our goal is to position our members to be in a place they can take advantage of what the future of money looks like. So those are the three ways that we
mm,
are able to support and empower our members to create and grow wealth through DeFi. So obviously we've launched a circle, and
yeah,
you can be able to go to share.blockupcircle.com. You can be able to buy blocks token from there. If you buy the $1,000 package, so on the primary market we have packages. So you
yeah,
can buy the $1,000 package, which you buy a block at $0.1. Imagine if you put in $1,000, you get 10,000 blocks. Today, if you went to the secondary market and put $1,000, you just buy maybe 215 blocks. So you can buy in the primary market. So you are making almost 40x. 40x. The only thing you need to do is you need to vest. You need to vest for 3 years. So you'll be receiving your blocks at around 8.9 blocks per day. So why do you need to vest? Because of course you're buying at a very low price. We don't want
yeah,
you to dilute the market. If you go and deploy 10,000 blocks, you dilute the market. So we
yeah,
don't want to do that. It's called an holding period. So it's similar to how companies issue stocks at the NSC. That if you buy in the pre-sale, then you
yeah,
obviously have an holding period after the stocks are listed in the market. market, you can't sell for some period. So that's essentially how we've been able to create that. And then we have those two loan products, we have the smart contracts, and now we are transitioning to the DAO. So right now, we are looking at, once our membership hits over 2,500 people, closing on 5,000 people, we can now
Yeah.
launch the DAO. So the DAO now would allow every member to actually
Yeah.
be able to make decisions over their money. But as I've told you, we are a global circle, so that means that everybody across the world needs to be able to participate. And the DAO is the perfect way for them to be able to make those kind of decisions. Proposals such as they need to increase interest rates, or they need additional capital to deploy, issues like new loan products that can actually be able to be done, new investment ways that they want their savings, if they see their savings contract has accumulated some amount of money and and we're not able to deploy on loans, how can that money be invested either on the DeFi space, or if you have to move money outside of the DeFi space, how can that be able to be done? So the DAO will be able to make very critical decisions. And the beauty is, as I've told you, we want to automate 95% of our operations. So which means if a decision is made on the DAO, it is executed through a smart contract. It does not wait for an executive committee to sit
Yeah.
down to decide whether they will or will not be able to execute. And that's the predicament of the existing SACCO model, where we have seen that these executive committees are taking advantage of member decisions. Members meet on an AGM, they make a decision, you hear that the executive committee is postponing that decision
Yeah.
to be implemented maybe in the following year. So that's what we do at BlockCoop SACCO, and that's how we empower members, and that's our vision, that's our goal, and we're really hoping that, Faith, you will be part of the 1 billion people who are going to be empowered by BlockCoop SACCO.
Thank you so much, Gideon. From this conversation, I am sold. I'll definitely be checking you guys out to just see your website and understand a little bit more. Also, to our members, please just know this is not financial advice. This
Yeah.
we've shared this conversation for educational purposes only, so that you can be able to know what is happening out there. As Gideon has constantly said in this conversation, we need to open our mindset. We need to be educated so that our minds can open to all the possibilities that is there in terms of different kinds of investments, different ways of doing business. So always do your own research, do extensive research. As you've had, they have a DeFi Academy. If you can just clarify for us, Gideon, the DeFi
Yes.
Academy, is it open to anyone, or it's only for like SACCO management when you're trying to sell the software solution for them, or even SACCO chain community members can
Yes.
come to DeFi Academy and
Yes,
learn
so the
from
DeFi
here?
Safari, it's called the DeFi Safari Academy. We've partnered with Royal Business School. Royal Business School, it's at Archives on that
Yeah.
floor, on that building with Mr. Price. So DeFi Safari Academy is for everybody. So if you're a SACCO member, if today you joined BlockCoop SACCO, you'd go through the 2-week program for free. We would pay that for you. But the cost is $150 for the 2 weeks. If you want to do the full course of 8 units, it can take a whole year. It will be around $750 for you to take the entire unit. Then we are able to customize. You can do per module. Per module is $70, so you can do 1 unit. There we have 8 units, so you can do 1 unit just for $70. But you can do a rushed course for 2 weeks, or the 8 units for just $150. But if you are a SACCO member, it's gonna be free for you. If you are not a SACCO member, then you have to pay. It's open for everybody. We've partnered with Royal Business School. We are doing those classes online, and also we are trying to do physical classes. We will be partnering with the financial institution that allow us to be able to do these classes on their branches. But now we have the Safari. The Safari is in cost. We take you for cost for a week to do a crash program as you have fun. We call it the 50 plus class. I mean, the 50-year-olds told us that the most educated people, they never used calculators in school. They have the
Yeah.
money and they are lonely and they want to learn blockchain. So we did a class for them, a 1-week class in Mombasa, where they're going to have a
Yeah.
$1,500 for 1 week and they are there, and you can go there and have fun with them. So we have those kind of classes. We want to start classes. We're able to take our students outside Africa just to go and see and experience this kind of events and stuff like that. So we'll have different packages. We want to make it fun for you to do it. It's also a learn to earn program. So you get some tokens. Once you finish up some units, we give you some tokens. We give you
Yeah.
some normal tokens from our real estate business, and also give you some blocks. So you're able to get some blocks by just learning. So we want to encourage our people to be able to learn. So the other thing is I'll send you some links which you're going to put on the video once you post it. These links will
Yeah.
lead guys to our community pages. So we have a WhatsApp community and you have a Telegram community which you can be able
Okay.
to join and of course be part of the community and start learning. I always tell people the biggest risk is investing in something that you don't understand. So the first thing is
Yes.
understand before you invest. Because once you
Yes.
invest without understanding, anything goes wrong, you start calling everything a scam. You know, that's the language of people who don't know what they are doing. People are
Yeah.
doing these things and they're making money out of it, but because you do not know, then you would call it as such because you're not being successful at it. And the biggest gap here is knowledge. So start by understanding, then make your investment. As you've said, do your own research once you're doing this. So I'll be able to share with you some links that you can put on the video, on the comment section, that people are able to follow, and they can even be able to contact us directly, and we can be able to assist them if they want to start this journey with us. Thank you.
Definitely, definitely. What a good way to wind up. I didn't even have to ask you where people can find you. You're very good at this. You really know how to market your product and to communicate very well. And I like how you've concluded by saying the biggest gap is knowledge. So, and I like that you've shared that for us as potential members, it's up to us. It's our duty to do our own research. It's our duty to educate ourselves on what BlockCoop is all about, educate ourselves on digital assets, so that if anything goes wrong, I'm not saying it will, but if the markets come crashing, because that's inevitable, the markets
Correct.
is it's never a plateau. It always goes
Correct.
up and down. So whenever it goes down, we shouldn't come out and say it's a scam. Whenever it goes up, we shouldn't be happy and not hope, not expect it will ever go down. So it's
Correct.
always up to members to do their own research, as it's always said in the blockchain and crypto space, DYOR. That's the mantra. Never get into a project without having an understanding of what the project is all about. Thank you so much, Gideon, for coming. It was such a pleasure having you here and sharing your insights on what BlockCoop is all about, what you guys are doing there. Thank you for being part of today's episode and for sharing the amazing journey that you've come through, sharing your insights, and even sharing the vision of what BlockCoop aims to become, onboarding 1 billion members, whether directly or indirectly. So thank you so much for blending traditional savings with culture and modern blockchain technology, proving that innovation doesn't have to erase the past, but can instead be built on it. So to our members, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to SocoChain on YouTube and follow us on different social media platforms. Yeah, we can't wait to be able to share more of these educational posts with you and bring different blockchain projects so that you can be able to understand what blockchain technology is and how it can be integrated into the already existing industries that we know them as they are. Until next time, keep building, keep learning, and keep believing in the power of decentralization.